Very good morning. See here, I'm starting the session. Listen. So in the previous session, very clearly we discussed how to create the table and how can we insert the records. Now, in today's session, I want to explain one more example. So pay attention and listen carefully here. See, example number 2. We want to create one table with the table name employee. Employee is the table name. We want the fields like employee number, employee name, job, salary, and hire date. Hire date means date of joining. Okay, or DOJ. DOJ means date of joining. Okay, so we want to create the table with the name employee, and how many columns we want? 5 columns: employee number, employee name, job, salary, date of joining. So records we want to insert like this: employee number, employee name, job title, salary, and date of joining. So 23 January 2019, like this. So this is the date format in Oracle. It displays 2 digits only. I'm writing 4 digits for clarity. Okay. So 5002 manager. His salary is 9,000. Okay. Date value 17 August 2017 or 2018. Like this, we want to create the table and we want to insert the records. This is our requirement. Okay, please close that door. So table name is employee. In these 5 columns, we want employee number, employee name, job, salary, and date of joining. And we want to insert the data like this. This is our requirement. So for this, what we have to do, see here. So to create the table, first we have to identify the data types here. Okay, employee number, which data type we have to take now? Number data type. Okay, what is the precision we have to give? 4 we are giving. Maximum 4 digits we want. 5001, 5002. Okay, maximum 4 digits we want. So number of 4. Employee name. Which data type? Varchar2 data type. Okay, next is job. Which data type? Varchar2 data type. Okay, for example, I am giving this as 15 and I'm giving this size as 10. Next is salary. Listen carefully. See, assume that maximum salary is 1 lakh. Assume that maximum salary is 1 lakh. Okay, this data we want to store now. So now what are the total number of digits? 8. Okay, how many decimal places are there? 2. So what we have to write here? 8,2. Good, that's it. Number of 8,2. Maximum salary is 1 lakh here. In the 1 lakh.00, total digits are 8 here. And number of decimal places are 2. So we are writing number of 8,2. Next, last one, date of joining. Which data type? Date data type. That's it. So now we know the column names. We know the data types. Now we can create the table. Now we are creating the table. Observe. Okay. So see here. Create table. What is the table name? Employee. First field is employee number. Which data type? Number data type. What is the precision we are giving? 4. Next, employee name. Which data type? Varchar2 data type. We are giving size as 15. Okay. Next, job. Okay. Which data type? Varchar2. We are giving size as 10. Okay. Next, salary. Which data type? Number data type 8,2. Number of 8,2. Okay. Next, date of joining. Which data type? Date data type. Bracket close, semicolon. So we are creating the table with employee name. In this 5 columns, their data types were specified. So this is the query for creating the table. I'm opening SQL plus. Observe here. In the Windows R, we are typing SQL plus. Our batch schema name is what? Oracle 9 AM. Oracle 9 AM. Password is Naresh IT. Okay. So observe here. See, to clear the screen, we write CL space SCR. This clears the screen. Screen is cleared. So we want to create the table employee. This query I'm copying. See, name field number dot size 4. Size we are giving as 15. Job varchar to data type size 10. Salary number data type float values we want to hold. Total number of digits are 8. Decimal place are 2. Date of joining date data type. So now what it is telling here, observe, table created. Now, okay, today we are creating this table. Okay, after some days we may forget the structure of table. To see structure of table, what we have to do, see here. To see the structure of table, which command we have to use? Describe. DESC, or completely you can write describe also, no problem. So describe, what is the table name? Employee. Describe employee means what it will display now? Employee number, data type it will display. Employee number, which data type? Number of 4. Employee name, which data type? Varchar 2. Like this, it will display the structure of the table here. Structure of the table will be displayed. To see the structure of table, which command we have to use? Describe, give the table name. So this command is useful, remember this one. And if you want to see the list of tables created by user, to see list of tables created by user, we write like this. So all tables information stored in one system table. That system table name is user tables. This user tables maintains all tables information. Okay. See here. Just now we created this employee table. We want to see the structure of table now. I'm clearing the screen. To see the structure of table, which command we have to use? Describe, then give the table name. What's the table name? Employee. Observe here what it is displaying. Structure it is displaying. Let me set the line size as 30 here. Okay. Observe what it is displaying. See, employee number, which data type? Number data type. Employee name, varchar 2 data type. Okay. So like this, it is displaying the structure of table. Today we are creating table. After some days, we may forget the structure of table. To see structure of table, we have to use describe command. Now, we want to see the list of tables. Yesterday we created one table, right? What is the table name? Student table we created. I want to see, I forgot the structure of student table. What we are right now? Describe student. Okay, so this is the structure of student table. So SID, SNAME, M1, 3 fields out there. I want to get all columns. For all columns, what we write here? Star. Star means what? All columns. Star means all columns. From table name. What is the table name? Student. So it is displaying the records here. Okay, see, it is displaying the records. 2 records we inserted. Yesterday we created this table. Okay, now all these tables, for example, from this student table, we want to get only S name and M1. What we have tried? Select, we want to get S name and M1, two columns only. Select S name, comma, M1 from which table? Student table, like this we are writing. So total 3 columns are there, but it is displaying how many columns here? 2 columns only it is displaying. So total 3 columns are there, but it is displaying only 2 columns to us. Similarly, a student is what? Table name. S name, M1 are what? Column names. Okay. Now observe here. There is one system defined table is there. That table name is what? User tables. This user tables is one system table. It maintains all tables information. But what are the columns are there in this table? We don't know because we didn't create it. So Oracle developers created this user tables table. This table maintains all tables information. We don't know the user tables structure. To see the table structure, which command we are using now? Describe. Describe table name is user tables. Now observe here, these many columns are there. See, among these, the important column names are table name. See here, these many column names are there. Just we are writing describe user tables. These many columns created by the Oracle developer. So table name, table space name, like this, many columns are there. Among this, first one is important to us, table name. Okay. Now you tell me, for example, from the student table, only S name column we want. What we are right? Select S name from student. From student. Okay, it is displaying only student names. Similarly, from user tables, we want to get the table names. Okay, so this user tables is the table. User tables is the table. This table is maintaining all tables information. So here many columns are there, like table name column is there. Okay, table space name column is there. Okay, like this many columns are there. Just we want to get table name column only from user tables table. What we are right now? Select table name from user tables. That's it. So just like from student table, if you want to get S name column, we are writing select S name from student. In the same way, from user tables table, we want to get one column table name. So select table name from user tables we write. If we write like this, it will display all tables created by the user. Till now we created 2 tables only. Yesterday we created 1 table, today we created 1 table. Tables listed is displaying, observe there. So this is the way of seeing tables information. So to see the list of tables, just simply write this query. Okay, it displays table names here. Like we created, till now we created 2 tables only, one is student table and another one is employee table. That tables list is displayed. This is the output we will get. So this is the query to see the tables list of particular user. Okay, is it clear? So to see the structure of table, which command we have to use? Describe table name. To see the tables list created by the user, what we have to write? Select table name from user tables. Now, next, inserting records. Now you know how to create the table. Just now we created this table. And how to see the structure of table, you know now. And how to see the tables list, you know now. Now our requirement is we want to insert the records. So inserting records into employee table. Inserting records into employee table. This is our requirement. Okay. So what we have tried here? Insert into table name employee, then write values, give the values list here. I'm giving first value, employee number as 1001. We have to follow the order. Okay, so in which order columns are there? If you don't know, you can use describe employee. You can see the order now. Observe here, first employee number is there, then employee name, then job, salary, then date of joining. 5 values we want to insert. Give values in this order. So I'm giving first value as 1001. Name I'm giving as A. Okay, next job value I'm giving as clerk. Okay, next salary value 6,000. Okay, next one is date of joining. Observe carefully. In our SQL, string must be enclosed in the single quotes. So that's why name we are giving in single quotes. Job title also we are giving in single quotes. And date value also you can give in the single quotes. Date value also we are giving in the single quotes. Now observe. So in the single quotes, I'm giving 23 January 2019 I'm giving. So this is the date of joining. So now if you write like this, one record will be inserted. Observe here. Okay, insert into table name employee values. Employee number is 1001. Okay, employee name A, job title clerk, salary value 6,000. This is hire date value, date of joining value. So the point to understand here is to insert date values. Date value must be enclosed in the single quotes and follow the default date format here. Date 2 digits, month name 3 characters, and year 2 digits or 4 digits you can give. I am giving 4 digits here. Okay, so this is the way of inserting date value. So if you practice this example, you can understand how can we create the table by using number, varchar to date data types, and how can we insert number value, okay, varchar, string values and date values. You can understand. So like this, you can insert the records. I want to insert one more record. Okay, so what we are trying? Oh, insert into table name is employee values 1002 we are giving. Name I'm giving as B. Okay, next job title I'm giving as manager. Salary I'm giving as 9,000. Next date of joining. Date of joining I'm giving as 17 August 2018. 2018 I'm giving. So this is the way of giving date value. So date also we are giving a string value only. This is the string value. Implicitly, the string will be converted to the date value. So here implicit conversion will be taken place. Implicitly, this string value will be converted to the date value. This is the string value. 17 August 2018 is the string value that will be converted to the date value here. So this is the way of inserting records. I'm inserting second record now. Observe. Okay, so record is inserted. Now, right, semicolon. Now record is inserted. What it is telling? One row created. Insert into table name employee values. We are giving value list here. Employee number 1002, name B, job value manager, salary value 9,000. This is date of joining value. To save this table data, which command we have to use? Commit. Now I want to see the table data. To see the table data, what we have tried? Select star from table name. What's the table name? Employee. It displays all rows and all columns. Okay. So display all rows and all columns. We want to display all rows and all columns. So what we have tried here? Select star means all columns. From which table? Employee table. From employee table. That's it. This is a way of seeing all rows and all columns here. Okay. So just now we have written select star from employee. We inserted 2 records. Those 2 records only it is displaying. Observe here. 1001 A, 1002 B. Those two records only it is displaying. Observe the date values. See, it displays year 2 digits only. So whenever we are inserting, to avoid the confusion, it's better to give 4-digit value. Okay. So this is example on creating table by using the data types. So please confirm, did you understand about creating table and inserting the records? Okay. Now, just practice these two examples enough. You will get idea on how to create the table, how to insert the records, and how to see the table data. Now, see, listen carefully. We are discussing what? SQL. What is SQL? It is a query language. It is a query language. To write the queries, we are using it. Why we are writing queries? To communicate with the database. In the from the database, we want to see the data, retrieve the data, and we want to create the table. We want to insert the records into table. We want to delete the records from table. So to perform all these actions, we are using SQL. To work with the database, we are using SQL. SQL is providing how many sub-languages? 5 sub-languages. What are those? DDL, DML, DRL, DCL, TCL. Okay, you should remember all this. Okay, so we are discussing about DDL commands now. In the DDL commands, first command is what? Create command. Create command. See the syntax of create command here. What is the syntax here? Create table. Give the table name. Table name, opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, semicolon. In between that, define the fields. So here what we give now? Field name we give. Okay, after that what we are giving? Data type. Field name, data type. After this what we are giving? Constraint. Good. Constraint name. Constraint name. Then constraint type. Then constraint type. Okay, so this is called one column definition. This one is called one column definition. Field name, data type, constraint. Okay, constraint name, constraint type. This is called one column definition. So like this, you can define any number of columns here. Field name, data type, constraint name, constraint type. Okay, so like this, we can define any number of columns. Okay, so yesterday and today we created 2 tables here. So in those, just we used field name and data type. All data types you know how to hold integer value, you know how to hold float value, you know how to hold date value, you know. Okay, so those examples I covered. Next, you should have knowledge on constraint types now. You should have knowledge on constraint types. Observe here. What is constraint? Yesterday and today we created table by specifying field name and data type only. Specifying this constraint name, constraint type is optional. But we want to create the table by using constraints now. When to use constraint? What are the constraint types are available? We have to know. So topic name is constraints in SQL. Now you know how to create the table with fields and data types. We have to know about the constraints now. What is this constraint? We have to learn. So very easy. Simply you can understand. Just listen. What is constraint in SQL? See. Topic name is constraints in SQL. So what is this constraint? See, for example, we are creating one table here. Table name is student. Student ID, student name and marks of subject 1.
Okay, assume that university is conducting 100 marks paper. Maximum marks are 100. Student is giving blank answer sheet. How many marks he will get? 0 marks. Student is attempting all answers perfectly. How many marks he will get? 100. So marks value must be between 0 to 100 only. Marks value must be between 0 to 100 only. For example, I am inserting one record here. 101 student, he got 67 marks. 102 student, he got 55 marks. 103 student, this student got 83 marks, but by mistake we are pressing one more key here, 834. Now is it valid data? It is invalid data. University is conducting 100 marks paper. Out of 100 marks, how can he get 834 marks? This is invalid data. Okay. For example, yesterday we created this table. Observe here. Select star from student. Okay. Now in this table, I'm inserting one record now. Insert into what's the table name? Student. Student values. I'm giving values here. 1004. Okay. Some name I'm giving. Okay. And marks value. Actually, he got 56 marks. By mistake, we are pressing one more key. Is it accepting the record or not? Observe here. Accepting the record. Okay. Now open the table. Select star from student. Out. Now is it valid data or invalid data? Invalid data. So university is conducting 100 marks. Out of 100 marks, how can he get 567 marks? So we have to restrict the user from entering this kind of invalid data. This is called invalid data. So user is entering invalid data here. We have to restrict the user from entering invalid data. So restrict the user from entering invalid data. So user is entering this kind of invalid data. We want to restrict him. So to restrict him, we have to use the constraints. What is the general meaning of constraints, sir? Constraint means restrict, limit. If you see in the dictionary, constraint means what? The general meaning is what? Restrict. Okay, observe here. Okay, restrict. Okay, observe. Restrict means, okay, what is the general meaning? Just observe. Okay, keep under control. Okay, so like this it is displaying. Okay, keep under control means it is restricting. Restrict. Okay, or limit, putting a limit or keeping under control. Okay, so this is the general meaning. So the general meaning is restrict or limit or controlling. So to control the user from entering invalid data, we can use these constraints. For example, I want to create one Gmail ID. I want to create one Gmail ID. So to create the Gmail ID, okay, so just simply I'm clicking on create account. So it is asking some data here. What it is asking, just observe here. First name, last name, what is the username you want, and what is the password you want. This data it is asking. I'm not entering anything. Directly I'm clicking on next. Now what it is displaying now? Enter first name and last name. Select one Gmail address and enter the password like this. It is restricting us. It is controlling us to go to the next step. To go to the next step, we must enter this data. It is demanding for the data now. So implicitly, they used such kind of constraints concept only. So here I'm entering ABCD here. Okay, some data I'm giving. I'm giving first name and last name. Now I'm clicking on next button. Now observe here, it is not asking first name, last name, but it is asking remaining details. Okay, I'm entering username here. I'm entering username, ABCD I'm giving. And I'm clicking on next button. Observe what is the error it is giving. Okay, see, I'm clicking on next button. Sorry. Okay, so username, I'm giving something here. Okay, leave it. Some password I'm giving. Okay, and I'm clicking on next button. So here, observe here what it is telling. I am giving password as 4 characters. So what it is telling? Use 8 characters or more for your password. So implicitly it is checking. Okay, 8 characters, minimum 8 characters are there or not. 8 characters are not there. It is restricting us. It is controlling us. It is preventing us. Okay, so like that, we want to restrict the user from entering invalid data. In such type of situations, what we have to use? Constraint. So according to this example, on this M1, we apply one constraint, check constraint we apply. So we are telling that check M1 value must be greater than or equals to 0 and M1 value must be less than or equals to 100. Marks value must be between 0 to 100 only. Otherwise, it will give error. If you give like this, now it will give error. So we are restricting the user from entering this 834 invalid data. So when we are entering this invalid data, it gives the error. So on M1, we are applying this check. This check is what? Constraint here. So this is one rule of that university. So to apply this rule on this particular column, we are using the constraint. You can understand like constraint means constraint is a rule. What is constraint? Constraint is a rule. So constraint is a rule applied on a column. So what is constraint? Constraint is a rule which is applied on a column. Which is applied on a column. So the rule which is applied on column, we are calling as the constraint. Okay, one more example I'm giving. For example, okay, assume that our see there is one table is there, passenger table is there. Assume that our Air India is maintaining passengers details. So passenger is booking the flight ticket. So they are entering data like this: passenger ID, passenger name, and seat number. They are maintaining here. Assume that in the flight, maximum 500 seats are there. Okay, first passenger 101. Okay, this person seat number is 78. 102 B, this person seat number is 105. Like this, we are entering the seat numbers here. For example, 103 C, this person seat number we are giving as 786. Is this seat number available? No, seat number is not available. How can he book the seat? Okay, so this is invalid data. Now this is what? This is invalid data. We have to restrict the user from entering this invalid data. So on this seat number column, we have to apply one constraint. On this seat number column, we have to apply one constraint. Which constraint we are applying now? Check. Check. Seat number value must be. Okay, what is the minimum seat number value? 1. 1. So seat number must be greater than or equals to 1. And this seat number must be less than or equals to 500. So now this seat number column accepts values between 1 to 500 only. If you enter other than 1 to 500, it raises the error. So in such type of situations, constraints are useful. Okay, for one more example, last example I'm giving. For example, here one column is there. gender column is there. In the gender column, we want to accept either M value or F value. In the gender column, we want to accept either M value or F value. If user is trying to enter other than these characters, this is invalid gender. So we want to raise the error here. So now what we have to do? On gender, we have to apply the constraint. Which constraint we are applying now? Check constraint we are applying. Check gender value must be equal to M or F. Gender must be equals to M or gender value must be equal to F. If gender value M, accept. If gender value F, accept. Other than MF, don't accept. So like this, based on our requirement, we apply one rule on particular column. The rule applied on column, we are calling as what? Constraint. Constraint means you can understand like it is a rule which is applied on a column. Okay. So this constraint is used to restrict the user. It is used to restrict the user from entering invalid data. So we are preventing the user from entering invalid data. So we are restricting the user from entering invalid data. So with this constraint concept, we can maintain, it is used to maintain accurate data and quality data. We can maintain accurate and quality data by using the constraints. So if constraints we don't use, invalid data may be there. If we use the constraints, we can maintain accurate data and quality data. Okay, so maintaining accurate data and quality data is called maintaining accurate data and quality data is called data integrity. This is the DBMS terminology. Data integrity means maintaining accurate data and quality data. Finally, the conclusion is to implement data integrity. Data integrity means maintaining accurate data, quality data. So to implement data integrity, we use constraints. That is the purpose of constraints. So maintaining accurate data, quality data is called data integrity. So to implement this data integrity feature, we use constraint concept. So these are the basic points regarding constraints. Listen. So Oracle SQL provides 6 constraints to us. Provide 6 constraints. What are those 6 constraints? Observe here. Those 6 constraints are those 6 constraints are, first one is primary key, second one is unique, third one is not null, okay, fourth one is default, fifth one is check, and sixth one is references. These references can be also called as foreign key. So these are the 6 constraints provided by the Oracle SQL. So Oracle SQL is providing 6 constraints to us. Those are primary key, unique, not null, default, check, and references. So these are the 6 constraints provided by the Oracle SQL. So among this, first one is what? Primary key. So constraint means what? Rules, right? These are the rules already defined by the Oracle developers. So Oracle developers defined 6 constraints. So these 6 constraints we can apply on the columns. So first one is what? Primary key. What is primary key? Observe. So here we are talking about two things here. Listen carefully. We are talking about two things now. One is regarding duplicate and another one is regarding null. So regarding duplicate and null, we are talking now. For example, there is a table is there. There is a table is there. Student table is there. In this, student IDs are there and student names are there and marks are there. Also subject 1. So student ID 1001 Sai 67. 1002 Kiran, okay, 78. For example, listen carefully. I am giving 1001 for Krishna. Okay, so for Krishna, we are giving 1001. So can we assign same student ID to many students? No. It is invalid data now. Already 1001 student ID assigned to the Sai. Okay, again we are assigning same 1001 to the another student Krishna. So same ID we should not give to the many students. So actually why we are giving the student IDs? Because in one college many students will be named with the same name Sai. With Sai name many students may be there. With Kiran name many students may be there. With Krishna name many students may be there. You cannot identify the students by using student name. Because of that reason only you are giving ID. So 1001 means only 1001 student will be there. 1002 means only 1000 student. 1002 student will be there. So like this we can identify student easily. That's why we are using student ID. Again you are giving same ID to many students means it is useless. So this is creating invalid data now. So this is what duplicate value. This duplicate value we don't want to accept. And next, one more record we are inserting. I'm not entering any student ID. Okay, but I'm giving student name here and student marks value. So without student ID, I don't want to accept the record. Okay, without student ID, I don't want to accept the record. So if student ID is not there, how can he attend the exam and how can he write the exam and how can you get the marks? So student ID is mandatory to maintain the marks. So that's why I don't want to accept this kind of null values. Now this one is called what? This one is called null value. Null means what? Empty, blank. So when we don't know the value, generally we give the null value. When we don't know the value, we give the null value. Okay, for example, observe here. Okay, so select employee name, comma, salary, comma, commission from EMP. Observe, sorry. Let me change. In this EMP table is not there. Let me change the schema here. Batch 6 p.m. Observe, select e-name, comma, salary, comma, commission from EMP. Observe here. See here, what is Smith salary value? 8,800. What is his commission value? Null. This is called null. Null means empty, blank. Okay. Ward salary value 6,250. His commission value is 500. Jones salary value is 5,975. This is what? Null. This is null. This is null. These are called nulls. When we don't know the values, just simply we insert the null value. Null means blank, empty. Okay. So if user is not entering the student ID, then also we want to raise the error. So this is creating the null value here. This kind of null values we don't want to accept. And this is creating what? This is creating the duplicate value. This duplicate value also I don't want to accept. In such type of situations, that field we have to set as the primary key. Primary key does not accept duplicate values and null values. Okay, now can we set M1 as the primary key? Can we set M1 as the primary key? Please confirm. No. Why? Because many students may get 67 marks. Many students may get 78 marks. Another student got 78 marks. Another student got 67 marks. Marks must be duplicated. So don't set marks as the primary key. Can we set student name as the primary key? No. Many students may be with same name. Okay. Another student is there with the same name Sai. Another student is there with the same name Kiran. So student name must be duplicated. M1 must be duplicated. So that's why we cannot set student name or M1 as the primary key. So primary key we can apply on the columns which are having unique values. Okay. For example, if we take employee table, employee number column is there, employee name column is there, job column is there, salary column is there, and a date of joining column is there. Can we set date of joining as primary key? No. On same day, many employees may join. Okay. Date of joining must be duplicated. Okay. Can we set salary as the primary key? No. With same salary, many employees may be there. Can we set job as the primary key? No. With same designation, many employees may be there. Many clerks may be there. Many managers may be there. Okay. Can we set employee name as the primary key? No. With same name, many employees may be there. So to identify the employee uniquely, which field we are using? Employee number. This one we have to set as the primary key. Shortly I write PK. Employee number is the primary key. So to identify the employee, we are using employee number. That one only we can set as the primary key. Remaining fields we cannot set. So what is primary key here? Primary key means it should not accept. Primary key, it does not accept duplicate values and null values. It does not accept duplicate values and it does not accept null values also. Primary key does not accept duplicate values and primary key does not accept null values. We're talking about 2 points only. One is about duplicate, another one is about null. So primary key means it does not accept duplicate values and null values. So this student table is example and employee table is also example. Okay. Next. Another one. Unique. Next constraint is unique. Unique means what? Single. Okay. So with this name, you can understand that it does not accept duplicate values. It accepts unique values only means what? It does not accept the duplicate values. Okay. It does not accept duplicate values. It does not accept duplicate values. But it accepts the null values. It accepts null values. So unique does not accept duplicate values, but it accepts the null values. Sometimes for some fields, we want to maintain unique values. For example, we are creating customer table here. Listen carefully. We want to maintain customer ID, customer name. Okay. So customer contact number we want to maintain here, mobile number. This mobile number must be unique or not? Yes. Okay. So every person has his own mobile number. Mobile number must be unique. But some customers are not interested to give mobile number. We want to accept null value. Okay. Once again, I'm repeating. Okay. One shopping mall is maintaining customer details. So they are maintaining customer ID, customer name, and customer contact number. Okay, if customer is giving mobile number, they have to maintain mobile numbers unique values. Okay, every customer has his own mobile number. Mobile number should not be duplicated. And some customers does not show interest to give the mobile number. We want to accept null values. For example, here 101 customer Ravi. Ravi is giving his contact number. Okay, Ravi is giving his contact number. Next, 102 Kiran. Kiran is not giving his contact number, so I want to accept null value here. Okay, and 103 person Sinu. Sinu is giving contact number. Okay, again he is giving this contact number, means this is invalid mobile number because this is mobile number of Ravi. Okay, so Ravi's mobile number Sinu is submitting. Okay, we don't want to accept such kind of duplicate values. In such type of situations, we have to set this column as the unique. So this mobile number we are setting as the unique. Unique means, does it accept null values? Yes, null values will be accepted here. Okay, does it accept duplicate values? No, duplicate values will not be accepted here. So to maintain the unique values, and if you want to allow the nulls, okay, we can use this unique. Based on our requirement, we use them. Okay, for example, mail ID is there. Mail ID should be unique or not? Yes. Okay, some customers are not giving mail ID. Okay, so we want to accept null values. Some customers are giving mail IDs, some customers are not giving mail IDs, so we want to accept null values here. And if user is giving the IDs, that IDs we want to maintain unique values. Okay, for example, Aadhaar number. Okay, some customers are giving their Aadhaar number, some customers are not giving their Aadhaar card number. This Aadhaar number must be unique. Aadhaar number should not be duplicate. If he is giving, we are accepting that value. Otherwise, we want to accept null value. So Aadhaar number, Gmail ID, okay, or mobile number. In such type of situations, which constraint we have to use? Unique. So unique, is it accept null values? Yes. Is it accept duplicate values? No. The name itself is giving the meaning. Unique means it maintains unique values. It does not accept duplicate values, but it accepts the null values. Okay. So primary key means it does not accept duplicate values, does not accept null values. Unique means does not accept duplicate values, but accepts the null values. Okay, so finally the conclusion is, when the value is optional, leave it. Not null. Next constraint is what? Not null. Okay, again, the name itself is giving the meaning here. Not null means, is it accept null values? No, it does not accept null values. It does not accept null values. Okay, is it accept duplicate values? Yes, it accepts duplicate values. It accepts duplicate values. Okay, generally, to demand for the value, we use not null. So not null demands for the value. So just now we have seen. Okay, observe here. We want to create one. Sorry. So we want to create one Gmail account. So I'm not entering first name, last name. I'm not entering any value and I'm clicking on next here. Is it demanding for value or not? Because those values are null. Those values are null. That's why it is demanding for the value. Like that, if we want to demand for the value, we have to set that column as the not null. Okay. For example, student ID, student name. Okay, this table I'm taking. In this table, without entering student name. Okay, I don't want to accept the record. The student ID we are setting as primary key. Okay, so primary key means what? It does not accept duplicate values and does not accept the null values. But for student name, can we apply primary key? No, because name must be duplicated. And I want to demand for the name. So without entering the name, I don't want to accept the record. So what I'm doing is I'm setting the student name as not null. Now observe here, student name we are setting as not null. So 101 A name I'm giving. Okay, or Ravi name I'm giving. Ravi name I'm giving. So 45 marks. Okay, 102 Kiran, 66 marks. 103, this person name is also Ravi. Okay, now does it accept this record? Does it accept this record? Yes. Not null means it accepts the duplicate values. Okay, many students may be with the same name. Okay, so this value I want to duplicate here. But for example, he is entering data like this. 104 is entering, he is not entering any name, but he is giving marks here. This one is creating null value. Without name, I don't want to accept the record. So now this is creating what? Null. Okay, not null, does it accept null value? No. Okay, does it accept duplicate value? Yes, duplicate values will be accepted here. So not null can accept the duplicate values, but does not accept the null values. That's it. Very, very simple. Primary key means what? Does not accept duplicate values and null values. Unique means what? Does not accept duplicate values, but accepts the null values. Okay, not null means what? Does not accept the null values, but accepts the duplicate values. So when we want to demand for the value, okay, we have to use not null. Okay, when the value is not compulsory and we want to maintain unique values, then we have to use unique. When the value is compulsory and we want to maintain unique values, then use primary key. Value is compulsory and we want to maintain unique values, then go for primary key. We want to maintain unique values, but it is not compulsory to maintain that value, then unique. Okay, if you want to demand for the value, use not null. That's it. Finally, the conclusion is, you know, three constraints now. You know, three constraints now. Okay, is it accepting duplicate value or not? Or is it accepting null value or not? I'm writing one table here. This is constraint. In case of primary key means, does it accept duplicate values or not? We want to write there. Okay, so unique, and another one is what? Not null. Okay, now you tell me, primary key, does it accept duplicate values? No. So no duplicate values will be accepted. Okay, primary key, does it accept null values? No. Primary key does not accept duplicate values and null values. Okay, what about unique? Does it accept duplicate values? No. Does it accept null values? Yes. Okay, what about not null? Does it accept duplicate values? Yes. Does it accept null values? No. Observe carefully here. Unique does not accept duplicate values. Not null does not accept null values. Primary key does not accept duplicate and null values. So you can say primary key is the combination of unique and not null. You can say primary key is combination of unique and not null. So unique means does not accept duplicate values. Not null means does not accept null values. Combination of unique and not null we are calling as the primary key. That's it. So primary key is a combination of unique constraint and not null. Unique and not null. Primary key is a combination of unique and not null. So this is about three constraints. Now you know three constraints. Next constraint is what? Default. Next one is default. So this default constraint is used to apply default values. This default constraint is used to apply default value to a column. Okay. Now this point is important. Listen, whatever the point I'm typing, this point is important. When we pass the value, it takes that value. When we pass the value, okay, it takes that value. If we don't pass the value, it takes default value. So when we pass the value, it takes the value. If we don't pass the value, it takes default value. Okay, listen. For example, when to use it, sir? For all columns, if value, for all records, if value is same, it's better to give that as the default value. For example, we are creating one table here, student table. We want to maintain student ID, student name. Okay, so all students are studying in same college. College name we are entering here. All students are studying in same college. Okay, and college address we want to maintain. College city, college address we want to maintain. Okay, and college country value or state value we want to maintain. Yeah, this is our requirement. Okay, see here, or otherwise I'm taking fee value. Fee, observe carefully here. Assume that all students are studying in the same college. First student, 101 student is studying in same college, Naresh Shetty College. Next student also studying in Naresh Shetty College. Okay, so Naresh Shetty College students data only we are maintaining. So for all records values same, we don't want to insert that value. So we are setting default value here. What is the default value we are setting now? Naresh IT we are setting as a default value. When we are inserting, don't pass this value. If we don't pass the value, it takes the default value. And all students are studying in same college, so same address. So address is Hyderabad. Okay, so this Hyderabad value we don't want to insert. So take this value as the default value. Default value HYD. That's it. And all students are paying same fee. For example, all students are paying 15,000 fee. All students are paying 15,000 fee. Okay, we don't want to insert that value. We want to give that as the default value here. Okay, so fee value we are setting as the default. So with this, the advantage is we have no need to insert this value every time. By default, it takes that value. For example, assume that this third student, for third student, that college is giving discount. Just they are collecting 5,000 only. So we want to pass the value now. So I'm passing the value 5,000. If we pass the value, it takes that value. If we don't pass the value, it takes default value. Okay. So in such type of situations, default is useful. For example, we are maintaining state name. Okay, for this college address, we want to maintain state value and country value also. State value will be same and country value will be same. So set that as the default value. So if we set that as default, we have no need to pass the value. By default, it takes the value. So this is about default. Is it clear? Next one is what? Check constraint. So check constraint, I started with this check constraint example only. So it is used to write our own conditions. It is used to apply our own conditions on column. It is used to apply our own conditions on column. If you want to apply our own conditions on column, we can use this check constraint. For example, student ID, student name, marks of subject 1. Okay, so the student got 45 marks, 102 student got 65 marks, 103 student got 72 marks, but by mistake we are pressing one more key here. So this is invalid data. This is invalid data. To restrict the user from entering invalid data, because minimum marks are 0, maximum marks are 100. So we have to apply which constraint now? Check. Check M1 value must be greater than or equals to 0 and M1 value must be less than or equals to 100. If you apply check constraint, if we give such kind of invalid data, it gives error. So if you want to apply our own conditions on particular column, we can use it. Okay, like flight ticket number, flight seat number, passenger seat number. Okay, so like this, marks. Okay, gender, we want to accept only M value or F value. In such type of situations, we can use check. So this is about check constraint. Okay, so this is about constraints theory part. One more constraint is there, references. Okay, so now I'm explaining about references. Pay attention and listen carefully here. If you don't listen, you cannot understand. So listen carefully here. For example, references. This references can be also called as foreign key. References can be also called as foreign key. For example, there is a table. Course table is there. Our narration it should be maintaining like this: course ID and course name. For Java codes, our narration is maintaining one code, that is what? 10. Just like for the cities, we are maintaining the pin codes. Our country is maintaining pin codes. 5,16,000 some so and so area. Okay, so like that, for every district or for every area, some pin code is there. Okay, so like that, for area code is there. Like that, our narration institute is giving course IDs for the courses. 10 course ID we are using for Java codes and 20 course ID we are using for Python. Okay, and 30 course ID we are using for Oracle. Okay, and 40 course ID we are using for C language. So like this, course IDs are there. And our narration is maintaining student details in another table. They are maintaining student ID, student name, and even in which course he joined, that course ID they are maintaining. So 1001 student joined in 30th course, means which course he is joined? Oracle course. Okay, so next 1002% joined in 20th course, means in which course he joined? Python course. Okay, next 1003 student, okay, joined in 90th course, means in which course he joined? This is invalid data. Course is not there. How can student join in the course? Institute is not offering the course. How can a student join in the course? This is invalid data. 90 course is not there. Okay, but we are showing the data as student is learning 90th course. This is invalid data. We have to restrict the user from entering this invalid data now. In such type of situations, what is our requirement now? Observe. Only these course tables, course ID values has to be accepted in this column. Am I correct? Only that has to accept course tables, course ID, column values in this column. Other than these values, if we give, that is invalid data. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40 courses are available. Only these primary key values we want to accept here. Other than these values, we don't want to accept. In such type of situations, set this course ID as the primary key here. Only these primary key values
we want to accept in this column. So this column we have to set as the foreign key, or you can say references. You can say foreign key, or you can say references. References keyword we use, so that's why we are using. We are saying that as the references. So what is this foreign key, sir? This foreign key refers to primary key values of another table. So course tables, course ID values only it accepts. So in this course ID column, which values we want to accept? Course tables, course ID values. So in this course ID column, this course tables, course ID values only we want to accept. Other than those values, we don't want to accept. So 30, is it course tables, course ID value? Yes, accepts. 20, is it course tables, course ID value? Yes, it accepts. 90, is it course table, course ID value? No, it will not accept. So that is the benefit we are getting with foreign key. Okay, is it clear? So foreign key means, foreign key refers to primary key values of another table. So another table's primary key values will be accepted in this foreign key. Foreign key refers to primary key values of another table. So this is about constraint theory part. So tomorrow we discuss in the session here. Finally, I am giving overview here. Listen, what is constraint? So constraint is a rule. What is constraint? It is a rule we are applying on the column. So if you apply the rule, what is the advantage we are getting? It restricts the user from entering invalid data. So with this, we can maintain accurate and quality data here. So total, how many constraints are there? 6. What are those? Unique, not null. Okay, primary key, unique, not null, default, check, and references. Primary key means does not accept duplicate values and null values. Unique means does it accept duplicate values? No, duplicate values will not be accepted, but accepts the null values. Not null means does not accept the null values, but accepts the duplicate values. Okay, default means to apply the default value, we use it. We have no need to pass this value. By default, it passes the value. Okay, like college name, college address. Okay. Next, check constraint. If you want to apply our own conditions on column, we can use this check constraint. Marks value must be 0 to 100 only. Okay. Or gender value must be MRF only. In such type of situations, we use check constraint. References can be also called as foreign key. Foreign key means it accepts values of another table's primary key column values. So foreign key refers to primary key values of another table. So another tables, in this example, another table is course tables, course ID values only accepted by this course ID column in the student table. So this course ID we are calling as the foreign key. Foreign key refers to primary key values of another table. That's it. Okay, I'm stopping the session here. Thank you everyone. See you tomorrow. Okay, for see, if you are getting installation problem, okay, actually I don't have mentors numbers. Okay, you please contact the Praveen sir for mentor numbers. You please contact the Praveen sir for mentors numbers. Okay, I don't have Oracle mentors numbers, so please contact to Praveen sir for the mentor numbers. Okay.